this evening to hear the fabulous Dr Uchenna Okoye talking all about smiles, your best smile yet, in association with Smashbox. My name is Hart-Davis. I'm a beauty journalist. I write also about non-surgical cosmetic procedures. I've just done a book called The Tweakments Guide, but I'm here in my capacity as sort of support on teeth for you, because I mean we've worked together a long time over the years, haven't we? And I love hearing you talk about teeth because you make it very real, very sort of normal. I mean, one thing I wanted to kick off by asking was how social media has affected the way we look at our teeth. Has it made any change?
Hugely. I'm sure everybody agrees. Thank God for ring lights. They're great, aren't they? I think the thing about the social media is it's made everybody much more aware of their teeth, of their smiles. First impressions count. And so it's quite funny in the practice. Sometimes patients will come and they'll sit and they'll be like, you know, they hate something about their teeth. And I'll be looking, I'm like, I've no idea what they're talking about. And then they'll whip out their phone and they'll be like, look. And I can immediately see it. So we're kind of looking at ourselves from all sorts of different angles, and people are actually learning about their features, which looks good. Everyone knows how to use all the things like Facetune and stuff. So yes, it has made an impact.
And are they seeing things that are real about their teeth, or are they, because you know there's that thing with your nose, when you do a selfie from a particular angle, your nose looks completely different, and it doesn't look like that in real life. So you can see what they mean about their teeth when they say there's a whatever going on. They're not completely making it up.
No, I think for the most part it is there. Whether one should do something about it or not is a different matter. But I think people aren't making it up. And from my perspective, if it gets them in, I'm really happy, because then it gives me the opportunity to talk to them about other things that I might not have been able to.
Like tooth health.
Yes, especially the younger ones.
Because they're coming at it from a cosmetic point of view.
Yeah, completely.
But how much does the health of their teeth matter to your patients? Is that a secondary consideration to look?
For the majority, I think we've kind of got two groups. So there's the kind of the younger gang that believe they'll live forever. Remember when we thought, you know, I remember thinking when somebody was 40, they were kind of about to die. Yeah, completely. You never think you'll get there. So for them, it's just, you know, do whatever you want. I just want a lovely smile, and I want it now and quickly, etc. So they're not interested in health. Then I have the older gang, of which I'm part of, who are now very aware of the health, aware of changes. You know, teeth are crowding more. So that's kind of the primary focus. But I think it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, everybody is open to the advice as long as I'm going to give them the results that they want at the end of the day.
And why are smiles so important? I mean, very basic question, but...
Well, it's the universal language. It's the first thing that you meet, isn't it? You might not be able to communicate by language, but you can with a smile. And there's been so much research done. So like the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, for example, have done loads of research. And it's been proven that if someone's got a nice smile, they're perceived as being friendlier, more attractive, more sexy, richer.
Better educated as well.
Yeah,
I've read that. Yeah. Terrifying. so it's worth...
You might be really thick, but you've got a great smile, and people think you're like university graduates. So yeah.
And not just in ourselves, is it? There's something. One of the questions here is a lot of women say that good teeth are a top requirement in a partner. Is that true?
Well, for me it is. I think it's so important. And not just good teeth, but fresh breath as well. I think that's so key.
And what makes good teeth when you're looking for good teeth in a partner, anyone?
I think it's quite an interesting question, actually, especially, I suppose, as a dentist, what am I looking at? I'm looking for breath, I'm looking for health. I think that if I look from a professional aspect, you know, you kind of want, when someone smiles, that you see everything. So the kind of smiles that the patients come up to me that they love are, you know, people like, if you've got Catherine Zeta-Jones, and, you know, it's because they smile and you see teeth the whole way along. So they've got something called the buccal corridor.
Julia Roberts, you see the most, don't you? Like
completely.
27 teeth.
You see them all the way across. And it's one of the key elements of a great smile that it's not just, so for a lot of people, it's kind of like 6 teeth that are prominent, and then everything disappears in the shadow.
Okay.
But if you can see teeth all the way along, it's like really room. And obviously color, because the bottom third of your face is the most aging. So if you make that look younger, and that's why color is so important, because the whites of your eyes are the same from when you're born. So you can't get much younger than that.
Okay.
So when you kind of have this white smile there, it immediately just lifts
everything. It's a youthful look,
up.
isn't it? Because left to their own devices, teeth will get yellow with age, even if they're reasonably healthy.
Completely.
Won't they?
They'll get yellow, and also they crowd. So my equivalent of everything coming down south is that your teeth get crowded because the collagen unravels.
And the bone gets resorbed, doesn't it, in the jaw, so you've got less space. Great. That's what we got coming along, so what are ways that keep our teeth healthy? What are the 3 top smile saboteurs, would you say, the things that
do damage?
That do damage, or 5 or 10, or whatever you want to say. But
I think a lot of it is lifestyle. So the major one is smoking. So that has the biggest impact. It has the biggest impact with regards to color, because everything gets darker, but also with regards to gum disease. So it kind of, in the old days we talk about getting long in the tooth because you get gum recession, etc. But the tobacco kills off the cells in the mouth that are trying to fight the disease, which is why most people that have gum problems have smoked at some stage. But also for us as women, God was such a man, wasn't he? We're at such a disadvantage that hormones have an impact. So as a woman, you've got puberty, then you've got pregnancy, then you've got menopause. It's so not fair. So those are just times when your gums can be affected and
with
cause
the
damage.
hormonal ups and downs.
It does impact things.
Does it make them the gums more susceptible to disease and recession?
Yeah, so you're more prone to that completely.
Okay.
So that's why if you're, so I'm going slightly off topic here, but if you're pregnant, now that you get free dental care, and that's because of all the hormones, so all the bugs in the mouth that cause disease that kind of going to hyper overdrive.
Amazing.
So yes, so going back to your question, it was smoking, number 1. The other thing I'd say, probably grinding your teeth, using your teeth as tools, so biting sellotape, all that kind of thing, and just the stresses of the day. As one grinds your teeth, the less teeth you see, the older you look.
Did you see a lot of that in your practice?
Oh, hugely. I mean, life is stressful for most people.
Yeah,
completely. So it's
anybody know
grinding.
they grind their teeth? One you lot? Yeah.
Oh, things going off everywhere. So just finding ways to prevent that, because we can't stop it. And then, what are the other saboteurs? I'd say it's just literally the sugar, what we eat. So the things that cause the damage is either, so if you imagine that you've got the bacteria, you've got the bugs in your mouth, you can either feed them so that they produce more acid and more toxins that dissolve the enamel and cause problems, or the acid that you do ingest dissolves the enamel of your teeth, so that means the bacteria can penetrate, so you're breaking down the defenses.
They're all out to get you, aren't they?
Completely.
Bacteria.
from all angles.
And staining things like coffee and red wine, or is that just a superficial thing that doesn't actually do so much harm?
It does long term. I mean, anything that will stain a white shirt will stain your teeth. So that's kind of the key mantra to remember. And I think we've all got pores. Just like you've got pores in your skin, you've got pores in your teeth. So anything with colour, have got colour molecules. Posh term for it's chromogens. So just like your face, it blocks those pores, and so your teeth look darker. Which is why teeth whitening, I'm sure we'll probably get to that, is such it's such an impactful treatment, because it literally clears the pores. And pores are clear, just like you have brighter skin, you have brighter teeth.
For sure, makes absolute sense. We'll stay on the subject of other things that make a smile unattractive. 1 in 4 people agrees, says this bit of research from Oral-B, that Brits have unattractive teeth or smiles. Do you agree? Actually, 1 in 4. 1 in 4 isn't that many.
Well,
25%.
I think that's a lot.
Say Yeah.
Oh, you think it'd be more?
I thought it might be more.
Yeah.
Or have we all got better Brits
I
at our
think we've
teeth?
all gotten a lot better. I think when I first started in the industry, you know, I used to go to the States, and actually that's what got me interested in cosmetic dentistry. They'd put up pictures of British teeth, and it'd be like, this is an example of bad teeth. Usually it was the royal family. It was like Prince Charles and all the people in the royal, and I couldn't argue with it. I mean, now the modern royals are completely different. You know, I just love the fact you've got Kate, who had braces, like, yay.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got Meghan, who's like Hollywood smile glamour, so love that. So we have gotten better, we have gotten more aware, and that is to do with reality TV shows, it's to do with makeover shows, the selfie thing, so people are more interested and they can actually see the before and after. So before and afters mean that people can buy into the treatment.
And they're really compelling, aren't they, before and afters on teeth? Because particularly I find looking at them, because I do judging for aesthetic dental awards, and you see the people looking closed off and they won't open their mouths to smile. And then you see a whole kind of personality change goes if they feel happy about projecting.
And you know, when people kind of come in, and I've had guests that, you'll hear me keep saying guests, because at the practice we call our patients guests, because that's how we look after them, but that they come in and they're like talking to you like this, or they're smiling with their lips, and then you kind of do their smile, and it's almost like that mental energy goes, and they just become a different person, and they smile.
Yeah, also I was thinking of a friend of mine I sent to you a couple of years ago, who she was very dental phobic and hadn't been to a dentist since her teens, and it was terrible, and her teeth were all falling out, and it was awful, and she had no front teeth left by this stage, did she? It was really, but you've managed to help her see the virtue of doing something about it, and when after, must have been 18 months of this sort of journey, she would never be photographed anyway, let alone be photographed smiling, but she sent me this picture, a selfie she'd taken on her phone just when she'd had her final consultation.
Well,
and
totally changed.
Just smiling, and there was no words. You think, actually, I might cry seeing her the difference you made to her whole way she faces the world.
It does, and I'm just like, oh my God, I love what I do, because I can't believe sometimes I have to pinch myself that people are paying me to do this. Because it's not about the dentistry, it's not about the teeth, it's about the impact it makes in people's lives. So having somebody who just was inwards, now suddenly like embracing the world.
But it's so also a testament to your dentistry, because she wouldn't come into the practice before without me holding her hand. Literally, I had to sit there and hold her hand, and she shook the whole way.
I saw her the other day all by herself.
Yeah, she can do it. She can do it. There's another question here about staining teeth and lifestyle, and I think we've more or less covered that, haven't we? Are there different kinds of stains on teeth?
Yeah, I mean, as in with the two, the extrinsic and the intrinsic.
Okay,
teeth are, so intrinsic is the stuff that's kind of like genetics, so something like tetracycline staining, etc., that you're born with. The majority of staining,
why would you be
tetracycline?
born
Oh, sorry.
That?
Dental jargon, isn't it? It's usually as soon as a baby's kind of like, while the baby's developing, teeth are forming. So if the mother's taken certain antibiotics like tetracycline, it actually, then you get this grey banding in there. But the majority of stains is extrinsic, so it is the stuff, as I said, that will stain a white shirt. So tea, coffee. And it's interesting because everyone always thinks coffee is like really bad, but actually tea is, green tea is not good for teeth from a staining perspective. And if you just put, you know, like if you leave your tea in a white cup for half an hour and come back, the change in the cup is doing the same thing to your teeth. But then, you know, everything that stains teeth tends to have a colour. So life's too short. Just eat whatever you want. Come to me, I'll whiten your teeth.
That's like the naughty skincare friends who say tan now, derm later.
Yeah, exactly.
But, adult braces, you touched on that a bit earlier. I mean, we're seeing a lot more adults wearing braces being prepared to undergo orthodontic work. I mean, what kind of braces or teeth altering do people come to you for? do they want full train tracks? Are people braver to have that kind of thing?
Actually, it's changed now. I mean, people are more open to having train tracks. Before, it was like absolutely no way. So the big thing in braces has been that you've got the invisible braces. So Invisalign, for example, lingual braces, which are on the inside, which I find hilarious because people pay for lingual braces and then they spend all their time saying, you can't see it.
And drawing attention to them.
To it, yeah, but the lingual ones are on
clever,
the inside,
yeah.
so no one can see. So I have, like kind of lots of people on the red carpet that have got that, and you don't know that they're having the braces done. So
does
that's
it affect
had an impact.
how you talk, having the...
It does initially, but like for a week or two, but most people can overcome it. You can hear yourself sometimes, but others can't.
With a bit of lisping or...
Yeah, exactly. So you just have to enunciate. But I think the braces have made a big difference. And also, I think we as Brits, we are very invested in our health. So we will wear braces, whereas I do a lot of work in the States, and everybody wants immediate results. So they don't want to wear braces. They're just like, a year, my God, I might be dead by then, do it to me now kind of thing.
So veneers and...
Yeah, they just want, they'll do whatever. Take teeth out, cut teeth up, doesn't matter, just give me the end result.
But we're more patient.
No, we are so patient. So yeah, we will do what's best long term once you get people involved in it.
Okay, and the invisible aligners like Invisalign, they depend on a lot of compliance, don't they? As in, you'll be okay with them if you really will
wear them.
Use it.
So with Invisalign, you literally only take them out to eat. So you need to wear them all the time.
And does that not affect how you talk?
Not really. You get used to it with all of them. You do. But the braces are great. I mean, the nice thing about, in spite of the fact, I've been called the queen of veneers and I do lots of cosmetic stuff, for me, if I can get your teeth in the right place and you have as little dentistry as possible, that's the best thing. So with braces, teeth don't move. All the other stuff that people have, Botox, you have to keep repeating it, or facelifts or whatever. But if I get your teeth looking good, you'll be like that till you meet your maker. So what a great investment, don't you think?
Very good investment. You're selling it. You're selling it. Yeah. I also wanted to ask, well, what are the best ways of making a difference to teeth that don't cost the earth? In terms of moving towards having that perfect smile.
I think,
is it alignment first? Is it a bit of bonding here or there? Or what are the sort of cheaper ways of improving a smile?
Yeah, if we do in order, I guess the first thing is colour.
Yeah.
So taking stains away. So, I'm a complete advocate. You probably know this. It's like my desert island item is the Oral-B electric toothbrush. It's just like awesome. Everybody, all my patients, all my family, that's what they've all got. But one of the heads in the brush, it's got like a whitening head. So it's a bit like what the hygienist uses. Yeah. So you can have a cup there. Use a whitening toothpaste, and that will help polish any stains off.
Does it get a bit of closer grip on the tooth?
Yeah, completely. And it's much better because teeth are kind of like, like this. So the thing that brush does is it cleans it really well. So if you get rid of the stains and you get rid of the plaque, teeth look whiter. So I'm like, that's kind of the first level investment.
I love the way you once described to me as like the difference between using a manual toothbrush and an electric one. It's like washing clothes by hand or putting them in the washing machine. Just once you think of it as that
it's so
kind
much
of thing,
more effective.
why would you not?
Exactly.
But sorry, I interrupted you because you were about to say.
So that's number one. Then the next level, obviously, I'd say the hygienist, who have got things like jet washes that they can blitz all the surface stains off. Next up from there is having professional whitening. Please, people, share the knowledge. Stay away from buying anything from anywhere apart from in a dental practice.
So what's wrong with the high street kits?
Because a lot of them they can damage teeth. They're too abrasive, or they're acidic. Was that my voice? That's so funny. And
all these things we see on Instagram, do they come into that same kind of
completely. I mean, the Instagram thing it's interesting because often I'll have guests that come in and maybe they've advocated some of these things, and I'm like, and they haven't used it, and I'm like, but you need to let people know this. So I kind of like, at best they don't work, which I'm like, great. but at worst, they actually cause damage to the enamel.
Right.
So, for
Eroding
example, yeah, I think Amazon, they just took off their best-selling teeth whitening kit because it had chlorine dioxide, which is actually a carcinogen. I mean, how crazy is that? Yeah, people don't realize. So go to the dentist, make sure that they can assess it, and then have professional whitening instead. So you're kind of going with layers with that. So you can have whitening your teeth. Then I can do things like bonding, which is what you were alluding to, where if somebody's chipped or worn their teeth, I can add little bits of composite to make them look better. Building right up to kind of like having veneers and braces and stuff. So there's a tier. So there's always something that you can do within your price bracket. I mean, it might even be as simple as changing silver fillings to white fillings. And things like that. And if somebody's going to do that, always do bottom teeth first. Everyone always wants to do the top. But when someone's kind of talking to you and you're laughing, you see your bottom teeth. So stuff like that makes a
And changing
difference.
the silver fillings to the white ones, is there a health reason for that as well as a cosmetic one?
Not really at all, in spite of the mercury. And it's interesting, actually. I think from the end of March, I don't know if you're aware, we're supposed to stop doing silver fillings. I have no idea how the health service is going to cope.
Wow.
Yes, it's going to be a nightmare. But it's not from a health perspective, it's environmental.
Okay.
So all these, you know, when someone dies and being cremated, it's actually the amalgam, the mercury going out into the atmosphere is the reason why they're banning amalgam.
Because I know, I've been told before that actually having mercury fillings taken out is possibly more dangerous than leaving them in because
you're really small. You're really small. But then there's more mercury in the fish that we eat. So I think the whole mercury thing, if somebody comes to me and they want it out, I'm like, why not? It won't do any harm, but you don't need to. It's just dentistry. You need.
1970s child, you know, got a lot of mercury in there. So
me too.
Also, they just used to do that the whole time. It seemed unnecessary. And do people confuse white teeth with healthy teeth?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, just because you've got yellow teeth doesn't mean that it's unhealthy. So the white aspect of teeth comes from enamel. So the more enamel you have, the whiter your teeth look. But then as one gets older, you can lose some of the enamel and the underlying material. So you've got enamel, then you've got dentine. So the dentine tends to be more yellow.
And that's the yellow.
Yeah,
okay,
so it doesn't necessarily mean
old person's tooth.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Like that. How are we doing? I feel like we've been talking for ages.
We have, yeah, and I'm sure people have got some questions. Right, well, more whitening things. How white should teeth be? How do you choose your ultimate shade of white? Because, you know, we all know there's too white when it comes to teeth.
Or the Simon Cowell
or John Bon Jovi, you sort of think you see nothing but the teeth.
No.
So how do you not go too far with
whites of your eyes. So when you're sitting in the tube, just look at everybody and look at the whites of their eyes and see the difference. The bigger the difference, the better if somebody wants to whiten their teeth. Because again, you know, as I said, for some reason, that color doesn't change from when you were born. And so if I'm trying to do somebody's smile, so my signature smile is, I want you to look like you, but better. Much as I want everyone to admire my work, you know, I just want them to think, oh, she looks good, has she been on holiday? So if I use that color, I know that it'll be really youthful, but it'll kind of blend in really well. Okay. Anything whiter than that then becomes really fake. Right,
that's a really good guide. And you can also make your teeth look a bit whiter with the right lipstick, can't you? Thinking about, because there's a question about miracle products for moving towards your best smile yet. I mean, I was going to ask you first about dental things, so rather before we get onto the lipstick angle. So apart from your electric toothbrush, a decent toothpaste, any particular toothpaste?
No, you know, it's got to be the Oral-B one.
And
I have to say, you know, I'll just say that for those that don't know, I'm actually Oral-B's brand ambassador. And that's not why, the reason I'm their ambassador is because I love their products. I'm a complete scientific neurotic geek. So I've done my research and I love it and I use it. And they're even more neurotic than me with regards to the science and the stuff that they do, as you know.
So they do have advantages over
other
high street brands.
Hugely. So the problem with whitening toothpaste is that some of them are too abrasive.
Oh,
again.
yes,
So
yes.
as you know,
Yeah.
and so then it damages the enamel. So what I'm looking for is a paste that's got all the bits that me as a dentist I want. It's got fluoride, will protect your teeth from cavities, etc.
Yes.
But the reason I love this paste is it's got something called pyrophosphate in it, because
Pyrophosphate. Okay,
yes,
okay, that's new one.
pyrophosphate.
Yeah, come on.
But it prevents new stains. So as well as helping take the surface stains off,
Okay,
it
I'm
prevents
sold.
it. You see, no, and that's why.
But-
That's why I love it and I use
Okay.
it and I know it well. So that's
Terrific.
why I kind of rave about it.
And I'm sure you get people, or I get people saying, but you can whiten your teeth by brushing with bicarb.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, bicarb, charcoal, yada. But
Basically
But
just abrasive, isn't it?
no, they're a bit. I mean, like there are some. If one can, I would say ask your dentist for their recommendation, because usually we've done the research and know. So with using kind of generic, because you see these things on the internet where somebody's like they get their brush, they dip it in lemon juice, then they dip it in bicarbonate of soda, and then they do this and like, oh, my teeth are white. It's just like, it may seem white initially because they're actually crystallizing the enamel, but you go back a few weeks later and their
Okay.
teeth have actually gotten darker because now the enamel's
'Cause
worn
they've
away.
stripped it, and
And
then
they've
any
stripped
other
it,
stains
yeah.
will just settle in, won't
Yeah,
they?
totally.
Eek,
So
okay.
no, it's just kind of stick to that's proven and
Or
that's
rub a
science.
strawberry on your teeth.
That
okay,
one I don't
which,
mind.
you know,
Yeah, summer's coming. The riper the strawberry, the more effective, because it's got a very gentle acid. So you
Okay.
can literally mash it up into a paste.
So that's not
And
totally
smear
stupid.
that. No, that one works.
Okay.
That one does.
Right.
And then of course, part of today is about the lipsticks.
Yes.
And
A quarter of women avoid a statement lip because it draws attention to their teeth. What do
Yeah,
we do about that?
totally.
Well, better teeth.
they're better teeth.
And then go for the statement lip.
Totally. And that's kind of what hence this idea, because, when I've done, I have a woman coming in and they're all like this, and then I've done their smile, and then next time I see them, it's like the brightest, reddest lipstick, and they're just like, whoa, look
Yeah.
at me.
Yeah.
And even for me myself, I am self-conscious about my lips, and I don't often wear red. I am today, as you can see, but it does make a difference. It's just picking the right tone of red, which is why I kind of working with Smashbox to pick the colors so that there's a correct red, as you kind of know, for each skin tone.
Yeah.
That will just make the teeth pop and just
Yes.
look better.
Yeah.
It just gives you so much more confidence.
And people can try these out
Yes.
now, I think.
So make sure you
yeah.
get your lip makeover and just pick the right color for you and see the difference. Yeah. And what's
And
our thing?
have we got a
next
few
one?
more minutes? Does anyone have any questions they wanted to pop up to Uchenna? Well, we got her here. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I grind my teeth a lot, and I was recommended by someone that you can have sort of Botox in your masseter muscles. Does that actually work?
Yes, it does. It's very, and in fact, now that we can use Botox to sculpt your face. So what happens with your muscles, you're grinding, it's just like any muscle, it builds up. So you can have somebody who maybe used to have an oval face, it now becomes square. So by using Botox in the right place, the muscle relaxes and you just get the shape back. So yes, absolutely, it does work. That's a good question. Thanks for bringing that up. Anyone else? Yeah. Hi.
So I've been told over and over again that flossing is so important, you should do it. I find it's just horrific, and I never like doing it because it always sort of attacks the gums mostly. So I got one of those water flossers, which are quite powerful, and they still make your gum bleed, but I've been told to sit through it. Does it have the same effect as normal flossing?
It's not as effective. It's better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be. I mean, the thing is that if you're using floss and your gums are bleeding, the bleeding should stop. So I think it's checking technique. And you don't have to use floss. I mean, floss is the best, but you can also just use like the little brushes and just, stand in the shower and kind of go between your teeth. Because the key thing is to not let the plaque and the bacteria build up. So that if your gums are bleeding, just, it will stop.
Yeah.
So if it hasn't stopped, then you need to just change your technique. But yeah, I know my guests call it the F word. Nobody likes flossing, but but it's kind of like ideally every day, but I'm like, let's get real. Every other day is fine. But don't tell your dentist I said that.
I always force myself to floss with it because it gets up under the gum line, doesn't it? Whereas
Yeah.
I love those little pokey sticks, but I feel they're perhaps not doing quite the full job.
They're not
They
as well.
not-
But then you're great. I mean, like when you've kind of come
Well,
to the
I've got to be,
hygienist.
haven't I?
You are, I know.
talk
we
about-
do percentages, so it's kind of like your percentage has gone up or it's gone down. So there's nowhere to hide when you come and see me. But I think because if it's all removed and then you're using the brushes, that's okay. It doesn't get a chance to build up quite
Okay.
far. And you come every 3
Okay.
months, so you're.
I
good.
try, yeah. I was saying I'm not so successful with the rest of my family. I've got a teenage son who sort of says, "Mum, dental hygiene is just a scam. I'm not going." You sort of say, "No, you know,
You have
it's
to
so
do.
difficult." You say, "Just humour me, son, while
You'll
while
pay
I'm
for
paying
it."
for it. You know, you may as well go." Sam,
Was there one case over your career that really stands out?
One.
One case that really you made such a difference to
Oh gosh.
big wildfire?
Wow, that's so hard. No, because each of them, it's like having little babies. Because everybody's different. They're my babies. That's why it's taken me so long to have my own baby, because I had all these smiles. Because it's kind of everybody, the impact it makes is just tremendous. I mean, when we're doing the show, that was awesome, you know, because I had these women that I knew would never, for those, I used to be the dentist for 10 years younger, that would never have had the opportunity, and and it just seems to be women, isn't it? We nurture everybody else and we forget ourselves, and to be able to look after them and change their smiles is just awesome. And a lot of them still come, you know, once a year to have everything checked. But thank you for that. But love each one.
Can I squeeze one in?
Go on.
Okay, can be last.
You mentioned smoking staining your teeth, but what about vaping? I'm curious to know if there's any evidence around vaping staining teeth.
That is a fantastic question, actually. I'm going to find out. I
It's
don't
still
think
nicotine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still nicotine. So
yeah.
I would think it does. And I think vaping is still relatively new. So there's kind of like research and going into it. I find the whole vaping thing interesting because on the one hand, it's great because it's like less nicotine. But then on the other hand, I think there's a bit of a paradigm shift. And a lot of my guests will tick and say they don't smoke anymore because they no longer consider vaping as smoking. And so now it becomes a difficult conversation because now I'm the bad guy where I'm like, well, actually, it's still smoking and it's still nicotine and so on. So I'm sure it does still stain because it's the same product. Yeah, less of it. Thank you for
Good
that.
thought.
Okay. Right, you guys have been amazing. I could talk about teeth for so long. Yeah, I'm like, I have no idea why I was nervous before because this has been so much fun. Thank you.
Well,
All right.
fantastic. Thank you.
So, yeah.